Hey, what's up guys? Joker here, and happy holidays to everyone out there that is celebrating during this fantastic week. Today we have got a couple of news stories to get through in the world of tech and PC gaming. First up, we're going to be talking about a leaked, I guess you can call it a leaked benchmark for the upcoming RX 5600 XT graphics cards, which is obviously going to fit somewhere in between the 5500 and the 5700 GPUs from AMD. Also, another AMD story concerning Ryzen 5 1600, which are not only still in production, but now it looks like they're actually pushing out some models that are using the 12 nanometer process, just like the Ryzen 5 2600 that came afterwards. But first, today's video is brought to you by BZFuture.com, where you could save money on things like gaming mice, keyboards, controllers, desks, gaming chairs, you name it. They pretty much have all of the gaming accessories that you need covered. And they also have software, which is on sale right now for their Christmas sale, and you can grab a copy of Windows 10 Pro free with any antivirus software that you pick up during the sale. Things like McAfee antivirus you can grab for $15, and then get Windows 10 Pro completely for free along with that, which you're usually going to spend about $15 on that anyway if you're picking up a key on BZFuture.com. And if you use my code BZJP at checkout, you can save yourself an additional 10% off of any gaming accessories, or the code JP to get 5% off of anything else available on the website. So be sure to hit up my links down in the description below so you can save some money today. So first, let's talk about the leaked 5600 benchmark, which was found over on the Firestrike database, or the 3D Mark database actually. They've got numbers for TimeSpy as well as Firestrike on there. We don't know for sure yet whether or not this is the 5600 or the 5600 XT, but most of the information seems to be pointing to the XT for some reason. Not exactly sure why, but we got some initial specs on there as well. It's rocking 6 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory. Obviously, the 5500 cards that recently came out had 4 gigabytes. The 5700 cards have 8 gigabytes, so this is going to be right in the middle, in probably in specs and performance, as you know, as well as the video memory at 6 gigabytes of VRAM. So interesting choice for them to go with 6 gigabytes on these cards. Definitely better than going with 4. I can't really complain too much about it. 8 would have been nice though. Maybe an option. Don't know. So let's shoot over to Guru 3D, who have some comparisons with this leaked benchmark from the 3D Mark database, alongside some other notable cards from AMD as well as NVIDIA. You could see the scores here for the 5600 or 5600 XT. As I said, we don't know exactly which one that it is. 6 gigabytes. This is the graphics score, which is going to be the number you really want to focus on for a GPU comparison. And they have that compared against right here in this graph, the 5500 XT 8 gigabyte card. And you can see pretty much going down the board here, it's around 30 to 35% faster than the 5500 XT, which is nice depending on how much more they're going to be charging for the 5600 cards over the 5500 cards, which are selling for sub $200. These are probably going to be in the $250 to $300 range for the two different versions for the 5600 and the 5600 XT respectively. Compared to its main competition from the green team, the 1660 Super, you can see that it is also beating it out there. In TimeSpy, it was only about 3% faster, but some other ones, it was actually a lot better, like Firestrike Ultra. It was 47.9% faster. That's a hell of a lot. And then 26% faster in Firestrike Extreme, and almost 16% faster in the normal version of Firestrike. So not too sure what's going on there with TimeSpy. Maybe some optimization will help bring those numbers up a bit once the once the cards actually ship, and we have updated drivers and stuff like that. Because the way it's performing in the Firestrike tests is very promising, but the TimeSpy one is a little weak. And I'd like to see that number come up a bit, honestly, to make it more in line with the other data that we're seeing here. Up against the 5700, it is obviously going to be slower than that, but not by much, surprisingly. Only around 20% on average slower than the 5700 GPU, and against the 5700 XT, that number does go up quite a bit, looking at around an average of 45% differential there, comparing the 5600 or 5600 XT versus the 5700 XT. But again, we don't know if this is 5600 or the XT model. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Obviously, we're expecting to see these GPUs probably sometime in January. That's the word on the street right now. And there's already been patents popping up for various different add-in board partners like Gigabyte and MSI have already started to pop up online. So no doubt we'll be seeing these GPUs in the not too distant future, but sometime early next year. Next up, I wanted to talk about Ryzen 5 1600, which obviously came out all the way back in 2017, but oddly AMD is still producing these as they offer a significant value, especially for people in, you know, less fortunate countries that don't have as much money to go out and buy the latest generation processors. You can get the Ryzen 1600s right now on Amazon for, I think it was $85 right now for the Ryzen 5 1600. The 2600 is selling for $120, and it doesn't really offer a significant boost in terms of performance. It is going to run at a slightly higher clock speed. It should be able to maintain a boost, I believe it's around 3.9 gigahertz, while the Ryzen 5 1600 should be boosting up around 3.6 gigahertz. So this was initially spotted over on Reddit, as there are two different steppings now, which you can see in the code names. So the code names they have here, you can basically decode that. There's a AMD decoding graph that we've seen around for quite a few years now, and it gets updated periodically. But if you go basically with any code name or model number that you see on a processor or a GPU box, you could basically look at certain data in that and then be able to figure out what it means, like as if it was an engineering sample or a final production sample, something along those lines. And with these particular models, you can see we've got two steppings here, one notated by AE and one for AF. So AF will be the 12 nanometer, which is basically what the 2600 will offer over the 1600, but now the 1600 has two different versions, one of them shipping with AF on the packaging, which would denote that it is Pinnacle Ridge, basically using 12 nanometer from TSMC or Global Foundries. So that's definitely interesting to see right there, and this specific one that's $85 over on Amazon is specifically marked as an AF version of the processor, and it's fairly new. That's why it is basically why it has only 5 reviews right now and 5 stars, is because this thing is like pretty much a Ryzen 2600, although the boost clock is not going to be as high out of the box. I did see a comparison online where someone tested it against the Ryzen 16, the AE 1600, and it was able to maintain a boost of around 3.7 gigahertz, which is obviously going to give you a very slight edge in terms of performance. So really, I mean, if you're choosing between this and the 2600, I would honestly just go for this, especially if it's selling for $85 and the 2600 is $120, which it is right now, as this is going to be a pretty good value. And both of the, I mean, you could easily overclock this thing anyway and probably get at least 4 gigahertz all core without really breaking much of a sweat, and without even needing to use anything outside of the cooler that ships along with the Ryzen 5 1600. So this is a pretty good deal right now. I'll leave a link to this down in the description below if you want to find the AF model, specifically the 12 nanometer model of Ryzen 5 1600, because $85 for 6 cores, 12 threads is crazy. Like, that's a deal all day long, even if it is not going to arrive until after Christmas. I mean, obviously at this point it's the 23rd right now when I'm recording this, so I wouldn't expect to have it before Christmas anyway, but hopefully, you know, you can get it early, soon enough. And yeah, that's a really good deal. I mean, look at this bundle down here. They got a motherboard bundle along with probably 16 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance LPX RAM along with the processor, $215 out the door. That's a steal. But that is all the news that I've got for you guys today. Basically an all AMD news day. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now, though, but I do look forward to reading through your guys' comments, opinions, and everything down below. Let me know your thoughts on the Ryzen 5 1600 shipping with 12 nanometer. That's pretty great to see. And also those leaked benchmarks for the the 5600 GPUs, which we should be seeing sometime next year. I'm going to go now, though. I'm not sure if I'll be uploading over Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Got a lot going on here, obviously, as I'm sure most of you do as well, but I should be posting periodically throughout the week. Hope you guys all have a happy holiday if I don't see you again before Christmas. Merry Christmas, and yeah, I'll catch you guys after Christmas probably with some more content on the channel, so make sure you subscribe for that. Leave a like, and I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.